We're waiting on Jerry to join in the game, but I'm going to go ahead and start my stream. We'll kind of get it kicked off. And anybody that's here, please chat. I will be able to see your chats and put them on the screen and such. But hopefully, we're going to have bandwidth hold out, and we'll be able to get this streamed. The whole time for this competition. So I would wager Jerry's going to be stream peaking. I mean, I just feel like he might cheat a little bit. And if Jerry, if you're watching this, then I'll know, right? Because you'll say something to me. But joking aside, no, I think it's going to be a good game. What I'm most afraid of in a blue team game is that we wind up on a large oil and gas field, and we wind up in something that has a much different strategy than I'm used to working with right now so far with the game. So, yeah, hello, LinkedIn user. I'm sorry I don't have your security permissions. That might be, yeah, so. Jerry is jumping in. Sweet. I'm just coordinating with him. I am live, and we are ready to play. So if you're not familiar with the game, this is a game called Red versus Blue. It's done by a company called ThreatGEN. And ThreatGEN's, kind of angle, it seems, has been to educate around good hygiene and cyber practices, but also to educate around from that executive level, just the abject failure and the kind of situation we find ourselves in where it's really, really, really tough for people to meet all the things that need to be done and succeed at, defending themselves and not having a chance at, doing any forensics or finding out who the threat actors are, TTPs and those kind of things. So it's a really neat game. It's a great way to kind of push you through the, if you will, emotions of the effort as well, right? As you see the threat actor just continue to win and win and win and win. And I'm gonna try to beat Jerry in a exhaustion methodology. What's up, Alex Farling? Good to see you, brother. But I'm gonna try to beat Jerry in an exhaustion methodology in the sense that I want to gather two things. I want a ton of threat intelligence so that I can actually beat him permanently. But I would really probably just like to survive the 50 rounds, right? We're going to be on a 50-round cadence, 60-second turns, so it should make it really snappy. But we'll see what happens here. I think we're going to go live in just a few minutes, so bear with me on this. 7 minutes, I think. We're going to go live. But if you haven't played the game, I kind of want to walk through the premise of this. It's a turn-based strategy game where you're given a certain starting capital as a blue team, and you have to develop policies and incident response plans and capabilities of backup and network segmentation and hardening devices and assets and understanding where your valuable things are. And typically, it's turn-based in the sense that you get to do a couple of actions based on the number of humans you have, which is very simulative, I think, of, if you will, like how I only have 3 staff. Who am I going to dedicate to patching, or how can I make a better automated methodology, or things to that effect? And so it does a really good job, I think, of walking you through that turn by turn. Now, on the red side, in a similar fashion, Jerry's going to be presented with basically nothing. He's just going to have a blank canvas, and the first thing he has to do is start doing intelligence gathering through OSINT or open source intelligence tools. He has to then start figuring out, what's my WAN, what's my network, where's my DMZ, where's my oil and gas fields, what are the things that are connected, and what are they worth, right? And that takes enumeration, that takes actually finding the asset and then digging into it. But the whole time he's trying to do that, he's creating intelligence signals for me. Right? And this is simulative of real life. He's creating TTPs, he's creating IP addresses, he's creating information that I can use against him. And that's kind of the intention of this. And so it's a give and take, right? Like, it's back and forth. Let me kill the chat add on over here. Hold on a sec. And we're going to manually bring up the chats. That way Jerry doesn't get mad at me. Top of the morning to you as well, sir. I'm not sure who the LinkedIn user is, or ma'am, I suppose. Don't want to be exclusive. But yeah. Hang in with us for just a few more minutes, and Jerry will join my stream, and we'll get started. I'm sure I can sit here and chat at y'all forever, but if you prefer to make fun of me or something, that works out best. Killing Spotify. When is the fun starting? Yeah, Edwin, we're gonna get kicked off at 5 more minutes, so we're gonna kick off at 30 after, right on the nose, and we'll get started. I'll have first opportunity as blue team. And I'll be going through my strategy until Jerry punches me in the face as the threat actor. So we'll see what Dr. Auger has for me in store. You're in the main room. I gotcha. Very cool. Daniel, if you're here at CompTIA, which, by the way, if you see over here to my right, I think stage left, I have the CompTIA Live banner back here. We're at the CompTIA ChannelCon, and so I stepped out to do this live stream from ChannelCon directly. But if you're here, Daniel, pop down, say hey. You can kind of be in my background if you want to and watch me lose. But yeah, and anybody that is here, I'm down on the on the uppermost floor, I think 4, at the very end by the Genius Bar. So if anybody wants to join me, they're welcome to. I think I'm streaming okay. I think everything's coming in just fine. Just double checking my stats. Why is that happening? Interesting. Okay, fair enough. Let's do this. Let's try to look at my settings. I'm still good. Yeah, awesome. All right, I think we're ready. We're just waiting on Jerry to show up. Let me make sure that this audio, the game audio, is coming through. I don't hear it, so it's probably muted. I'll fix that afterwards. But yeah, everything looks great on the stream, so I am ready to go. Jerry, join my lobby, buddy. Ninja with AirPods. That's awesome. Let's go to my private chat. Please not share your chat stream. Yeah, that was my bad. Okay, we are ready and live. Jerry, let's jump in here and fight, brother. Got a couple developers on to support it. You know, one of the things I like about ThreatGEN is they've actually been really responsive from a technical perspective, from a helping you enjoy and understand the game perspective. If you're interested, ThreatGEN.com, they have a training platform. It's really geared towards, you know, professionals like us, for continuing to build that education space. Also fantastic, like I said, for talking to executives about cybersecurity in a lot of ways. So I think it could be a very good platform for a lot of those reasons. Where you at, Jerry? I'm live, baby. Three minutes. T-minus 3. Only down to 2 watchers right now. It's okay. At least on one of the platforms, I suppose. I don't get much data from LinkedIn. That's where I'll see quite a bit more. So if you're here, please chat. I won't know you're here otherwise. Okay, cool. Just typing chat. You know, the delineation is Jerry has like 500 people in his room right now, and I've got probably 50 or so total across the different platforms. So yeah, Jerry's hyping his chat. I have to imagine Jerry's been watching some of my stuff. Somebody reached out to me and said, hey, listen, you're probably not very smart streaming your strategies. But I think there's enough RNG in this game, and I think there's enough kind of luck. Yeah, Cam, we are, good to see you here, buddy. So we are rocking out 50 turns instead of 75, so it should be a much faster game. We're also going to 60-second turns, which will make it much quicker. And thank you so much, like, for bringing that up, right? So how's the charity going? So we shave our beards in November. If you go to cybermatley.com/shave-that-beard, you'll see kind of the beginning piece of it, and then also the GoFundMe link, which would be very awesome if you would donate. So that'd be really cool. But thank you for bringing that up, Nathan. Heath Spencer, it's great to see you as well. What's up? And Sandor is saying, do you have a link to the primary streaming platform? Yeah, Sandor, I apologize, but there are people listening right now. They might be able to comment on here and give you the link to the esports casters, right? Because there's 3 streams happening. There's myself streaming the blue team side. There is Gerald Auger, Dr. Gerald Auger is streaming the red team side. And then there's an esports team that are at ThreatGEN that are streaming kind of the overall commentary about how poorly I'm doing. So it's going to be fun. Great to see you here, Sandor. Oh, there's Jerry. Okay, we are both in the same lobby. We are ready to go. Very cool. Ready to go. Sending my question to make sure we're good to fire off. Yeah. Very good. Okay, I think we're ready to kick off. I'm going to press go. Should I wait? Should I wait for Jerry to say yes or just hit it? I'm just going to hit it. Let's do this thing. Starting game. Oh, we have to click random. Okay. All right. This is what I was talking about. I'm totally going to cross my fingers and hope that we don't wind up on that last large oil and gas company. So let's see. Blue team, cybersecurity specialist. Your mission is to protect your ICS by bolstering your defenses. Yeah, it says my stream's a bit laggy. I'm on cell phones down in the basement, so I do apologize, y'all. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, I am starting out. So let's switch over to the network view. I prefer this view. There's also another view where you can get into the action tree side, but I prefer the network view myself. So let's do this. We are going to start by establishing. I'm not on a large gas and oil. I am. No, I am. Okay, then I can't hire staff first. I've gotten hit by that pretty hard. So I'm going to go ahead and do the pieces. I'm going to roll the dice. I need another human. I need another human. All right, let's try it. We're going to roll the dice on this. Getting policies started. Jerry's probably already found my WAN, or at least he will in this first turn. And do I not have the game audio? Let's get some game audio, because I do like having that there. That helps a little bit. How bad is the stream? If anybody's watching right now, is it pretty decent? Like, can you see me move my hands and such? It seems like it might be okay. I'm still waiting on Jerry. He's going to take us all 60 seconds? Come on, bro. Oh, come on. Jerry, it's been 60 seconds, buddy. So I got my new staff hired, which is probably not going to do me a lot of good, because if I don't have any money, I'm in trouble. So let's try to ask for budget. We're going to get a sim installed with some of our remaining money. And that's really, I think, all I can do without turns, right? Like, so that's kind of one of the worst parts about this is you can't do very much in the beginning. Thanks, Heath. Thanks, Haircut Fish. Appreciate you for the stream being okay. Appreciate it. Video's decent. Oh, okay. All right, fair. That's fair. That might be me turning my head, actually, as well. So, depends if you're losing the game, audio or not. All right, so we're going to hopefully get budget. Every time I've done this when I'm playing live, I've never gotten budget on this model. I think there's a broken RNG potentially on this, but I don't ever seem to get budget on this when I ask for budget after hiring a new staff initially. And I don't have enough money to do what I can there. I can install NIDs, but without that, it doesn't do me much good. I probably should just focus on an asset inventory for now. That's all I've got. Oh, Jerry's explaining everything? Thank you. That helps, yeah. And maybe I can take a little more time to do that as well, right? In the sense that, yeah, you need a firewall. But the biggest thing that scares me right now is if you look at this network segmentation, right? Like 172.16.183, 172.16.183, but then when you get out to the pipeline valves, it's 172.16.83. So that's unsegmented network, like, has to get dealt with, right? And I don't have any money. So I'm hoping that in this next turn, I'm going to get budget. I don't think so, because like I said, this RNG has not been good to me on this. But I'll be left basically not being able to do much because each of these cost money, and I have about $2,500. So I'll probably train my people just to drop the phishing attack stuff that Jerry can do quite early, right? Because Jerry or any threat actor, once they have that public persona, once they know who you are, it's really easy to do a phishing attack, right? That takes me seconds. So it's really all about, did I get money? I bet I did get money. Okay, I will shut up, ThreatGEN. That's on me. I maybe 2 points don't make a line. All right, so next thing we have to do is segment network, but I need one more human. So I'm just going to do some basic things that I can do that are short so I get my humans back. So I'm going to go ahead and implement strong Wi-Fi on our DMZ wireless in case he is doing physical type attacks. One of the natures of this game is you can actually go on site and do physical attacks just like you would as a real threat actor. So I'm going to make sure that I take care of that. Let's see where we're at now. So we'll have security awareness training for our phishing protection. We'll have an asset inventory done after this. We'll have strong Wi-Fi, which will leave us with 4 people again. And I think getting budget this early and 4 people is actually going to be really beneficial on this game. I've been cheated a little bit by that the last few times, and I haven't been able to get budget. And there I was kind of standing with a lot of wasted cycles, right? Because I had 4 people standing around, and there's just only so much you can do without funding. And I think that's actually a fair corollary, right? To back to our world. in the sense that if you don't have funding, sometimes there's really not much you can do. You can do asset inventories, you can do physical actions, you can work on processes, you can work on those things, but you often need the tool set, the assets, and the humans to do it. So that makes it kind of more realistic. But let's see where we're at. Okay, so we now have the ability to segment our network, and I think that's one of the most critical things we can do right now. The other thing I like to get done early is get a backup process in place. And I think that'll leave us with enough to do some ICS work, essentially. Let's get a vuln map in. That way we can start hardening assets. So if you don't know what vulnerabilities exist, and that would be Control 7 on CIS, right, is this continuous vulnerability monitoring, then you don't know that the threat actor has things they can attack. One of the natures of this game is the threat actor has to gain capabilities, which is probably not all that far from life, to once they find a 0-day or once they find something that's attackable, they have to have the skill set. Right? If you don't know how to do a cross-site request forgery or any of the types of things that are showing up, then you're not going to be able to execute those. And so the thing Jerry's having to do right now is train on some of those skill sets so that he hopes to find me with a vulnerable asset that he can leverage. And he may have already done that. But I am now going to be basically just chalking through this turn. I don't think there's any zero-cost items I can do anything with right now without humans. I have no humans. I has no humans to use, unfortunately. I'm out of humans, so I must just kick it back to Jerry. Fair. I appreciate all y'all here watching. This is awesome. Thank you. What's up, Sean? I'm well. I'm playing a little red v blue today. Oh, yeah? Yeah, man. All right, it's my turn. Okay, I have system backup capabilities now, and I have a giant list of vulnerabilities, more vulnerabilities than I have humans to deal with it. So if I have to focus on that, I'm going to try to focus on where the money comes from, right? And that's what cybersecurity is. It's business. So I am going to focus over here on the ICS side and deal with vulnerabilities over here, right? So trying to get some of these systems hardened, and then I'm going to rapidly try to run through getting an initial restore point on all my assets. One way I've strategized in the past is by doing the restore points only when there's no vulnerabilities. The challenge with that is, like, there's already a lot of vulnerabilities, and I don't want to not have a restore point. The risk of this, though, is if you have a restore point after the threat actor is already present, then you kind of just wind up with... oh, got to end... I ran out of time. Then you kind of just wind up with restoring the threat actor's access to that system when you do the restore. So you have to be in a position where you have early backups and you have often backups so that you can make some decisions. Eric Anthony, he said if I knew I was live, he would have been more disruptive when he walked by. Fair. Thank you, sir. I would appreciate no less. All right, so we still don't have any evidence of him, although we have lost a cloud asset, one of our devices. They simulate it being off, but it also always makes you a little concerned when you lose access to something, right? So the next thing I want to get into is let's deal with some strong passwords. Let's deal with some security skills training down the road, but let's get in a couple freebie ICS hardenings, because what he can win early with is just disrupting my ICS, my industrial control systems, right? The pipeline, the pump jacks, the distilleries, or distillers. And so I want to harden that so that at least his wins have to come from a profit and loss win, right? Attacking my systems, doing those kind of things. So I'll focus very heavily probably on the right, even though I know Jerry's going to be focusing on hitting those human assets and those systems. But I'm hoping that the security training and the password hardening and some of those things help a lot. The next thing I do want to get in, though, once I have some humans, is getting two-factor placed on everything. So let's go ahead and make Traveler's Insurance happy, and let's get our two-factor placed. And then we're just going to continue along with our restore point stuff that we can do, right? So let's get a few more restore points on some critical assets. Maybe a terminal server. Oh, I need to harden RDP. Gosh, there's just so many things to do and not enough time to do them all, right? So I think that's kind of the nature of cybersecurity in general, is there's just always more to do, and it really is sometimes a return on investment question. I think I've got some good backups now. Let's get another restore point here. I'm going to run out of time in 15 seconds. It's not what I meant to click. There, Matt. All right, let's get a few more restore points on these assets, and we'll pass it back over to Jerry to continue his nefarious hacker ways. Ooh, I'm going to get a win today. Only 40 more turns. I survive. We should see the threat actor soon, though. I would wager Steph 90 has probably been a target of his in general. But we'll see. Yeah, my biggest concern is absolutely industrial control system interruption at a very early stage. And I think that's probably Jerry's attack method. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I would bet I would be going for an ICS win just because it's very hard to wear down a P&L in 50 turns in my mind. Come on, Jerry. If you want to, you can call me and explain it. Just tell me what you're doing. That would help. That would help me a lot, I think. I wonder what the casters are saying. Hi, casters. If you guys are watching right now. Okay. Let's see. So, ICS passed. We finished those. System hardened. Password policy created. Strong passwords implemented. So let's get a VPN so that we can at least harden the outside. And we're going to encrypt network traffic. Go back through another round of our restore points, right? I wish there was a multi-click for this, but in the same breath, it kind of like simulates some of the, you know, if you will, plate spinning work that exists for doing this. Even if you do it at scale, you have failures, you have things you have to check in on. I need to get some stuff going on some of these too. I need to get some log collection going. All right, I'm good. Let's hand it over to Jerry. All right, red team, do your worst. I bet I see him this turn. That'd be my gut. I don't bet we get past 15 without seeing some action. But in the same breath, Jerry might be going very quiet, right? Dr. Auger could be just absolutely building up assets inside and not having me detect them. And so that's why I do need to get into some threat hunting. I do need to get into the ability to start looking for TTPs because he could very well just wait and disrupt enough assets to get to the ICS side without me even seeing him. I mean, he could be in my external firewall. He could be in my DMZ. There's a lot of places that he might have persistence. I do still have monies, though, and I have people's, so that's helpful. And I'll probably do a little bit of spending on some hardening of physical assets, maybe, but really want to take care of some of these vulnerabilities on my ICS side next, I think. No assets yet, so... What do you mean? Oh, am I waiting? Am I still in the middle of a... Yeah, I got stuff going. All right, fine. And this is kind of one of those things where you end up doing nothing a lot of turns, right? Because you're just waiting on people. So you end up just doing backups. But I'm moving along. Closing down some of the gates for him. I don't think I've ever hit these assets. Let me get a backup of these assets. I also don't have an IR process yet. Don't you ding at me, machine. All right, Dr. Auger, what are you doing right now? I'm actually surprised I haven't seen any threat actor attacks yet. So my gut says he's got persistence on some of my assets, which means I really need to get into threat hunting. But it's hard to do when you're faced with so many of these vulnerabilities that you know are part of that same problem, right? So SQL ejection, patch not currently available. So I do have all my peoples back. Let's get an IR plan in so that we can make our IR process faster in case he is going for a profit and loss attack. And maybe we'll go ahead and do some system hardening and system patches. Let's start. I have no more people. Can I spend anything without people? Electronic locks probably isn't the biggest thing right now. I'm going to go forward. I'm at least at 13 turns. Nobody has disrupted my ICS yet. Although I say that and he probably pop back and I'm just destroyed. But I have lost at 13 turns before on this map, and it's really frustrating. Got lots of people walking behind me from Channel Con. It's really cool. More peoples. I have $8,000. We're on turn 13. Jerry's had it for about 40 seconds. I should get it back here any minute now. But I would also wager I'm going to have to jump into an IR. I've lost 3 more assets down here on my DMZ on the internet. So far, not. We have no intelligence yet. I'm going to spend, like I said before, I'm going to spend as much time down in the ICS side just because I really know that's the biggest thing of value to my business. And I think the corollary from that should be that as you focus on rolling out protections, as you focus on, like, know where the data is, know what's worth money, know what's worth money regulatorily, know what's going to cost money, know what's going to interrupt business operations, so that you can focus on escalating controls as you start seeing things have escalating value and impact to the organization. There's a lot of interdependence. That's really tough to do sometimes, but understand that the goal is to try to focus on those assets in that kill chain that are most valuable to your organization. I am terrified that I haven't seen Jerry yet. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's absolutely terrifying. I think I'm feeling good about my ICS side though, so I'd like to start doing some security monitoring on that. I don't have enough money. Okay. What about my IR policy? I'm starting that, right? I'm in the middle of my IR policy right now. Hardening an IR policy? Yeah. Okay, what do I want to do then? I am going to request budget. I am going to spend for secure. I don't have enough people. Oh man, I'm going to be wound up without any money. Fine. That's what we're going to do. Another vulnerability round. So I'm doing scanning for vulnerabilities. It's kind of interesting. The game doesn't have this automated thing. You have to actually remember to scan for vulnerabilities. If you look at Control 7, though, on CIS, the intention is for it to be on a constant automated basis. And so you would expect, if you were in a real system, to see these vulnerabilities on vuln reports and be able to start dealing with them. One of the nice things I like about this game, though, is it does tie it to a data map. It does tie it to an asset and network map, right? And so you have the ability to say, okay, where are my vulns and where are they most likely to hurt me? Now, I am being a little ignorant because there's a lot of vulns on these PCS and SCADA systems that are also super, super, super valuable to a threat actor, and I probably need to start focusing on some of that here in a minute. I've got 2 of my 4 people back. I have $4,000. I'm probably going to get some NIDs in and get to where I can see some sections of this, and that's probably what I'll spend my last $4,000 on, is getting network intrusion detection systems. So NIDS is network intrusion detection systems, whereas NIPS would be network intrusion prevention systems. So this is definitely much more of a gather intel methodology than it is going to stop anything, but it does let me hopefully get enough TTPs and information on them to make good decisions about the threat actors. Right now, I'm just finishing up another round of restore points, right? So I can potentially in an IR save a turn. That's the whole goal of why you'd use restore points like that, is to protect kind of the speed at which you do your incident response on this. And it also helps to have the IR plans. That also shortens the time frame, gives you more that you can do in IR. But yeah, gosh, I am super surprised I haven't seen Jerry. I didn't expect him. Yeah, exactly, right? Somebody posted on here and says, you've got to get visibility into those vulnerabilities so you can know where to apply those controls, right? Like, exactly. If you can map where my important things are, where my data is, and tie that back to the vulnerabilities that are there, you can get a pretty good idea of what you need to do to tighten up those controls around that. So great point. Oh, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous. Like, I haven't seen Jerry at all. We're 16 turns in, which means he's probably got position on assets, and I have no visibility to see him. And that's what makes me nervous. So I'm hoping I win this budget round. If not, I'm totally hosed. But if I get this budget round next turn, I can really get to work on some more of the actual visibility around the threat actor in my assets. So, EDR sensors on my assets, things like that. Control 10, by the way, on CIS. All right, so did we get budget, or are we not there yet? We have one more turn. Okay, good. All right, so we have one more turn. I have no monies, so I'll probably implement ICS. Let's do more strong passwords, actually. It looks like my vulnerability detection found more strong password stuff, so let's do that. I did leave people on the board, I guess. I probably should not have. That's a pretty big mistake I just made, actually, because I would have probably been able to do some ICS vendor certifications that I missed. That's on me. I failed on that one. That's unfortunate. But you know, I think simulative of real life, we are human, and we are subject to make poor decisions. And I think that's why the more you can automate around security, the less and less human failures create these challenges. All right, gosh, I'm just horrified that Jerry hasn't come back. I am winning with RNGesus today because it does appear that I got my second set of budget. Because I have 4 humans and $40,000 to do some big things. I think I'm going to do a pen test. I think I'm going to try to see where I'm at, and I'm going to have abilities down on these assets. I think that's what I'm money on, is getting that done. Are there any other 0 people? I don't think there's any other 0 humans I can do besides restore points, right? So let's put some restore points on our assets, especially a lot of these. I wish I could get my click speed up, but I'm just not very good. God bless my heart. Like, my clicks per turn is atrocious. But I guess in the same breath, it's not a super click-heavy game. It's definitely more focused on knowing what to apply and where, and also somewhat correlative to where the threat may be at this time and what they're doing, right? That's kind of the you don't know where the threat actor is, and so hardening certain systems can be a waste. That's why I like to focus on the ICS side, the OT, if you will, that operational technology that matters so very much in tying into business. If you can't pump it, and if you can't transport it, you can't sell it. If you can't distill it, you can't sell it. And so you wind up with OT things that even if the IT is in good shape, the OT being impacted now is what so that's kind of realistic to life as well. I'm super happy I've turns. Like, I don't get tossed out with water on this one. So at least I'm at a few turns in. The dog cost on the patches, right? It's the human cost on the patches, right? And at this point, once you've done the vulnerability scan, you've got humans that are potentially impacted. Stream out on 2 live podcasts, taking resources. Yeah, no doubt. All right, so we got EDR installed on a few things. I'm going to continue these system patches with the 2 people I have on these ICS systems, but I don't have anything that doesn't take humans other than taking restore points of assets, right? So that makes it kind of tough. And then we know we have a couple of vulns with no actions available. That's really a vulnerability. It could be a real problem. But yeah, I'm down to no more human actions up here, so I'm just going to restore point it out. One of the more boring things in the game, but also kind of one of the more helpful. Like, everybody talks about backup not being security. CIA triad begs to differ, right? In the sense that it's about the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. And backup speaks to integrity and availability, right? In some components, both sides. And availability in the sense of being able to bring it back online in a restorative method. And integrity in the sense of being able to make some comparative delineation between your backup and your live data. So getting backups is valuable, but quite boring, I guess, is the TLDR on that. Streaming Matt on 2 live podcasts simultaneously taking... Yeah, fair. I would advocate getting some more resources. Is that Chris Pardue? Oh, it's so good to see you, brother. I didn't know that was you. Awesome. Great. I would very much like to win. I don't want to lose. Unfortunately, the threat actors usually win when they're intent. I probably ought to work on some more physical stuff, too. I wouldn't put it past Jerry to drive on site and drop USBs, which I've done. Almost no USB. You don't seem to have an option to deploy the Cyberdyne Systems D802 Dominator. There should be. I'm with you, Charles. We need to be able to deploy the Dominator. It'd probably be a good idea to change default creds on my ASA. Just maybe. So we're going to continue on these rounds of hardening. I don't have anything else I can do here. I have no more money. Or I have no more human capital to be able to spend. I mean, I'm really just basically down to patching or restore points and prayers. It would not be surprised if he has not very quietly gained access to a lot of my stuff. I'm terrified of it. And I don't have any more people, and I don't think hiring would make sense either. I've not seen a 50-round game make much sense going all the way up to a fifth human on the blue side. There's just not enough budget cycles, I think, and you'd waste a lot of very heavy protective things you need to do early on by spending the money as well as by taking that much of the turn out of capabilities. All right, Jerry, I hope you're struggling over there, buddy. I really hope you're on the struggle bus, but I don't believe it. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And if you guys are watching this, later I'll be on a stream with Robert Coffey, Jay Tipton, myself, potentially Jason Slagle, and Miles Jorgensen from CompTIA, talking about the Volunteer Response Corps, which is essentially, if you've ever been burned by a giant ransomware, if you've ever lost in that grand fashion as an MSP, we want to create a resource for people that have not during their time of need, just from a strategic guidance perspective, if that makes sense. So, I still don't see Jerry. I'm horrified. All right, let's just get on with it, should we? Are there any ICS level patches and things I can apply? Firmware, nothing, system patches. Let's pull one of these out of the queue and go back to ICS level stuff, pretty much. And then we'll get a quick round of restore points in. I don't think I've hit the term server in a minute. Ooh, I am missing stuff. How do I have to patch my DMZ VPN? Interesting. Okay, great. Maybe old weak protocols or things like that. Ay, ay, ay. Charles Gordon says, Jerry started a blue team cybersecurity vendor and is raking in the cash just from the threat of Red Jerry. Maybe I should do both sides of things. That's a great point, Charles. I'm not being a bad guy enough. I need to spend more time attacking things just to create... Oh, wait, no, they do that for us. There's plenty of that. No worries. I have to imagine Jerry's got to show himself to try to go on a... Maybe he's not trying to go with a P&L win at all. Maybe his entire intention is to just build enough resources to have pivots into my ICS network. And I'm just curious why I haven't seen him, unless that's his intention, is to be quiet, essentially. There it is. Oh, and it's a programmable logic controller. I might be down. I might lose. I've got a PLC out. I don't know. So this is the conundrum, right? Do you deploy a... Do you go ahead and deploy IR? I'm kicking off IR. We're going to go dig into who all's in my network. Let's go see what we can get on that PLC. But he's definitely either disrupting the PLC for a profit and loss win, right? Because a P&L statement win. Or he's got something. Could just be he's using disruptive malware attacks, in which case I don't know if I'm as concerned. But I could lose next turn, unfortunately, based on what I'm seeing here. Because he's already got pivot to the ICS network, and that's terrifying. I hate you, Jerry. Just want you to know that, if you're listening at some point. I don't like to get killed. I bet he's done. I bet he executes here. Ah, jerk. I'm in IR by that ominous music. Okay, incident response mode activated. So my assets back up. I really probably wasted... I probably made a mistake. Yeah. And I don't think there's any intelligence I can gather. there's really just nothing I can do but deactivate IR. I think Jerry got me. I think he tricked me into doing that. That was very smart. You burn an entire turn, right? Because I'm just kicking back and forth between IR. Unfortunate. Uh-oh. Is my stream frozen? Weird. All right, I can't tell if my stream's good or not, but I'm back to my turn. So I'm hoping my stream's good. I'm not seeing updating here. All right. Waiting on Jerry here. So we're at 25 turns. We're halfway through the game. I've had one incident response already. I don't know that I should have. Sometimes you can just reboot the ICS. All right, thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. I had like my view doesn't show me. And Chris, thank you for the time stamping. That's huge, dude. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, super cool. I want to see, so there's no actions available, and he's got 2 0 days with no patch available. Let's see what we've got to do here that we can get into. We need to get ICS vendor certification. Let's do a secure development lifecycle. No, let's get our security skills trainings ramped up. Let's see if I can make it through 3 turns for my security skills training, which will allow me to do more and more stuff around protecting some of these assets. So, yeah, let's see. So at this stage, we've started to get some network detection capabilities happening in our firewalls, or at least collecting log analyses, which is really great for gathering forensics and having data, and also being alerted to threat actors in the network as we continue to grow that skill tree. But I'm hoping I can get about 5 more rounds in. I'll feel significantly more stable if I could get in just a few more rounds after this security certification training side. But I don't know what Jerry's got planned for me, and he's already gotten a pivot point, still presumably has a pivot point into my network, and it's probably from the DMZ. That's my gut. And I should have dealt with it. There's a couple of system hardening things that have to happen at the DMZ side, but I've got like exclamation points on everything. I have no humans. I can't do anything else but take restore points, unfortunately. I'll probably do a round of deploying EDR next turn. Get some more visibility. Ay. Oh, I didn't even see the ransomware. Ah! Jerk. That's probably his pivot. Maybe. That might have been his pivot. He might just be giving me Another one. Let's go back into IR and deal with this ransomed machine. Luckily, I probably had a backup pretty good, but that doesn't mean I'll be able to remove his pivot. I would wager he's had the pivot on that asset for a minute. That's in the DMZ, or it's inside the corporate network, which means maybe even an AD attack. Maybe he's going after a win that side on the Active Directory persistence side. He's certainly had enough turns to research persistence. I might be in real trouble. We'll see. I feel like that's always the way you feel, is like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, right? Like, you're just waiting for the threat actor every time. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. Let's see what next turn brings. $26.50ths. Just got to make it 24 more rounds and not suffer a profit and loss. So we're in IR again. We're going to go ahead and restore from backup on this asset, just because it's only one turn, and I think I have a pretty recent backup. But I think we can gather forensics. Oh, I can't gather forensics. Have I not researched that part of my tree? Sad clown. I don't think I can gather forensics at this stage. I'm really in trouble. I'm not going to get a intelligence win on that. Gosh, that's unfortunate. I also don't know if I can restore and click the disable IR at the same time. I don't know if I have to do those as two separate actions, so I might have also just burned a turn in IR. So we'll see. Hope our Hammond doesn't mind his machine being ransomed. Poor guy. Oh. Go ahead and move on, Jerry. Dun 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 dun. Okay. What else do we miss here? We're back to normal on that. There is no forensics I can gather. Just waste a turn. I think the way the mechanics work, I could have said I want to go back into non-IR mode at the same time as saying restore machine, but I don't know, and I didn't want to chance a third turn being burned, so I chose to. I have no knowledge of him. I have 0 TTPs on the threat actor at this time, and it's super unfortunate. At this point, I would probably say Jerry wins. I would bet. I just don't have enough visibility. Gotta be just a second. I'll have the command here. And I'll probably have another incident. It's probably just an incident response, but we'll see. Let's get some EDR on that. Okay, so getting a little bit of EDR down on the bottom right side, as well as patching and things that I need to get done. SCADA PCs. I also did an EDR on our Hammond because I'm hoping he actually still has persistence. I mean, I'm not hoping that, but if he still has persistence, I want the lens to be able to see the TTPs and the information about the threat actor, if possible. So that's why I deployed that EDR. It takes one human every round to deploy those things. So if you count the number of machines, I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I have 24 turns just to patch everybody. And so he's already come back and ransomed me again on the same machine. So he's obviously still got persistence to that. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and do the things that I have to do here that are one-turners. And then cut back over to IR, essentially. And it looks like he is attacking me on a profit and loss basis, right? In the sense that every time I have to go in IR, I have business disruption, I have a down asset, I can't continue a normal function. It costs the business money, right? And as that continues to happen, the profit and loss side starts to slide, and you end up taking more loss than you're making profit. As a result, downtime and things like that, lost customer confidence, all of those things. So Jerry's kicking me back and forth into IR, which is making my slider, which is this jobber right up here, drag down to the left, right? So I'm starting to see profit and loss for the company to be affected by these incidents. It also helps for him to get constant incidents, right? But this time I might have the EDR agent on there, which might mean I can gather some information about him, some forensics, but we'll see. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and restore it, or replace it this time and spend a little bit. I just don't have anything else I can do. I'm literally, I'm blind. I haven't spent any money really on incident capabilities and data gathering capabilities. Yeah, Chris, that's exactly what I just did last turn, was got in some patching on the AD server as well as EDR on the AD server, but yeah, 100%. So if I do the restore, let's test this. Can I deactivate at the same time? I hope so. You sorry bastard. Alright, he won. How did Jerry win? Jerry won on damaged ICS process. Yep, that was my fear from the beginning. I haven't won a game in this large oil and gas side, and it's been somewhat related to the scope as well as the lack of humans and the inability to protect the ICS side. Gosh, I'm really kicking myself on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that, and I think I'll end the stream. All right, we're going to jump in the other stream and drop off this one, so I'll see you guys all later. Thanks for watching me lose. Unfortunately.